Hello and welcome to Books and Beyond. I'm Danielle and I actually have a little something different for you today. I have a mid-year book box review. I track all of my book boxes, obviously with the videos, but also I have my always fully booked planner for 2023. If you want to know more about this planner, I do have a video on my channel that goes more into this, and I do kind of a flip through, but this is by Little Inklings design. They're the ones who put out this book planner. It is a book planner. It's very cute. As you can tell, I use it a lot because of all the wear and tear you see here. It does have like a foiling, and this is why you have to be careful with foiling on hardcover books as well, because it can rub off. So even if you're getting special editions, just something to be mindful of, because like me, I have like really oily fingers and they get, you know, scuffed around. I stack things on top of it. So it's very easy for it to get taken off, for the foiling to come off. But as you can tell, this is very well loved and I love it. I don't care, like but if you want to know more, check out Little Inklings design. So to go into the mid-year review, I'm just gonna flip through here. I already have it kind of marked. And we're gonna start with the Bookish Box. So I also keep track of my special editions ordered, and I can go through that maybe at the end, but I wanted to go ahead and start reviewing our Bookish Box. So this one is actually pretty easy to review because just a quick explanation. So what I do is I have every month on here for the year of 2023. They had this little sticker that came in their box, so I used it as like a header. This planner is customizable, so I did actually make these pages myself and add them in. As you can tell, it's very homemade. And I don't have pretty writing, and I still use my planner. I don't care if my writing's pretty or not. This is my planner for me. So, you know, that's what's fun about these things, is you can make them your own and set them up how you want them. So in here, I do all of my book boxes. So this is the YA Bookish Box review. I review all of my boxes with a 1 to 5 star rating, same as books. You know, 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. I write down what the book was, and then I also, if it's a book box that comes with things, with goodies, I go ahead and I'll write what my favorite item was of that box. And all of those two things are what factor into this rating. So for example, if I really like the book, the author's known, or even if the book is really pretty, the quality of the book, because it is a special edition, and then the items, the quality of the items, what my favorite item was, usually is like the highest quality item to me, but not necessarily. Sometimes they have other things that I like, but it's just this happened to be my favorite thing. This one is very easy to review because they are very behind. And as you can see, I already canceled the subscription. So little spoiler alert for June. What I did, so I'm still waiting for March's book box. We are now in August and we're still waiting for March. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've gotten the February one. So I just got that recently. And I did my video on that. So you can check that out. If you're interested in any of these things, you can go look at the video and see what actually was in the box, including all of these. So right off the bat, YA was actually a really great choice for the book. I really enjoyed it. The crown, they actually had a crown that you could wear or put on your bookcase for decoration, whichever you choose. They had a lot of quality items in here. This was just by far, this blew everything out of the water, in my opinion. This was one of the best quality boxes I've ever seen from Bookish Box. And I liked the book that they chose. And then we have our February, which I just did. This one, I just it was good. Like, to me, a 3-star rating is good. It just wasn't like anything mind-blowing or super great. To me, it's like a 1 is I hated it. A 2 is, it was okay. It was just kind of meh. And then 3 is good for me. And I rate my books the same way, by the way. A 4 is like an excellent, really good. Maybe just, if it was just a little bit better, it could have made that 5-star rating, and 5 stars obviously the highest, and it was like very impressive. So on this one, for February, I gave it a 3-star overall because the book was not one I had heard of or heard any buzz about. And it just kind of was like, it was a pretty book, so it was nice. And then the book sleeve I thought was nice. So overall, I thought it was just a good box. So March was, you know, we're still waiting for March. And then once I started seeing, because they do tell you what each book is going to be for the boxes, I skipped. And the thing about Bookish Box is you can only skip twice in a 12-month period. That's it. And so I skipped. And then once I saw what June was, like I was going to go ahead, but I just wasn't impressed. So I went ahead and canceled it because I just didn't like the book choices for this box anymore. Regardless of how good the things are, for me, if the book is not good or something I want to read, I will not, I just don't want it, you know? So for me, I went ahead and canceled. I just, like a little spoiler, because I had made this at the beginning of the year, so obviously I was planning to do the other months. But the thing is about this is that I saw what their fall lineup was, so October, November, December, even September, and I just saw what they were, and I actually was glad I canceled it because I didn't like any of the book choices. It just was not exciting to me. There was nothing exciting. So for the average, it's pretty easy to figure out. This is a 4-star average over 2 months. I will say though, if I go based off of the 3 months, so if I take the average rating and divide it by the 3 months that I'm owed, this one being no stars because it's, you know, I don't even know. I haven't even gotten it yet. And that's kind of a negative for most people. So if you went based off that, it would be a 2.7 star, which is unfortunate because like I said, this January was really good. The book choices just haven't been good. But if you go based off this, it's about 4 stars, 2.7 if you go off the other ones. So okay, so we have my little notes here, but here we have our adult Bookish Box. So here's the other thing about this one. This one is even further behind than the YA because as you can see, we don't have our February box. It is right now August. And so again, I skipped the August book. This is actually my first skip for this. And you'll notice here in July, I changed from the book and goodies box, which is more expensive, to the book only because I just couldn't justify getting the stuff in the box when I'm not even getting the box anymore. Like I've only gotten one. So for me, I just went ahead and said, you know what, I'm just going to do the book. And I actually am glad with that choice because even though I skipped August, the September, October, November, December, that lineup, those all were books that I'm like, yes, I wanted to read. And I do remember that this August book was the author, I think it was Olivia Blake, which the one who writes the Atlas 6, which I have not read, but that's one of the reasons I skipped because none of her books just really seem to appeal to me. So it's not necessarily like the box's fault that I skipped this, but it's just the book, well, it kind of is in a way because their choice of book I didn't really want to read. But she is a popular author. So to me, this was really more of my, you know, again, it comes down to personal choice. And all of these book boxes, this is your choice. So you are deciding where you're going to spend your money because these are all really expensive. So as you can see, these are about, I want to say they're about $48 a month for the box and the goodies. So if you count that up, I mean, that's a lot of money. 5 months worth of money, plus then this one I downgraded to the book only, which I think is just $38 a month. Still pretty pricey, and that does include shipping. I will say that. It does include shipping, but as you can see, like this is a lot of money that's tied up in here that I'm not seeing any returns on. So that's just something else to just keep in mind when you're making your choices, is what that, the reputation of the company is. They might be doing really great books. Like I said, I'm actually really looking forward to some of the books I've seen coming up. I think I saw, I think it's like the Spanish Love Deception was one I saw coming up, and something else. I think there was a Jennifer L. Armentrout book that was coming up. So like these are all great book choices, but if they're not getting shipped out on time, that's a real concern for most subscribers. And a lot of people have unfortunately had to let go of this book box subscription. So it's really has to do with what your decision is, where you want to put your money, because one of the reasons to stay with a book box subscription is it does give you early access to special editions that are not in the box. They're their own special order pre-order. And that's why I think I'm going to go over my list of pre-orders at the end, because then you can kind of see what kind of books that Bookish Box is doing as special editions. So just real quick, because it's very obvious here I gave it a 3.5 star. This is Kingdom of Stars and Shadow. I didn't like the color scheme of the book so much, so that was kind of like a to me. But I did like the candle carousel. The items in the book box were okay. They were good. So that's why I gave it a 3.5, because it really could have been a 4-star or 5. I did like the reverse cover of the book. I just didn't like the overall color scheme of it. And to me, that's another thing I want to point out is the art quality of the books. If the art is not good, if it looks kind of amateur, which sometimes Bookish Box does have art that I find personally, again, this is only my perspective, I find it to be a little amateur. I find that it's not like very professional digital art, but then again, they will then sometimes just automatically, like not automatically, but they will just out of the blue is what I meant to say. Out of the blue, they'll have something that's really good and really pretty, really well done art, and I love it. But then there's other times where it just looks like somebody called their friend and they do art on the side, and they're the ones that kind of made it, and maybe that's what all artists are, I don't know, but I'm just saying that the quality of the art is another thing that I take into consideration when I'm looking at the books themselves. And they have had some pretty art on some of their books, but this was not one that I was totally impressed with the color scheme. I just didn't really like it. So anyway, so 3.5. If you were to actually average in all the days I'm out, I think it comes to like 0.57 stars. So if I take that 3.5 and divide it by 6 months, it's like half a star for this whole box. So, you know, take it however you want. It's all about how you want to look at it. But a lot of people would find missing stuff a pretty big negative. So it's important to be forthright and objective about that. And I just want people who are spending their money to know, you know, what to expect, you know. Okay, so our next one we have is Fairyloot YA. And so you can see here, they're pretty good. They're pretty up to speed. They have, I actually have the July box to review, so look for the video coming up on that. But I will say that I only skipped once, and Fairyloot has a more generous skip policy than Bookish Box. They actually allow you to skip 4 times, so basically once a quarter, which I think is actually very generous of them. I will say that their YA box has impressed me. Overall, I do enjoy it. So here we have our January book. It was Spice Road. My favorite item was the hair scrunchie, and I gave this box 5 stars. The book was beautiful. What I loved was all the jewel tones of all the items in the box, so I really enjoyed that. Skipped this one. This was City of Nightmares. I do remember the book, and I was actually confused when I read the synopsis of the book, and I just said, nah, I think I'm going to skip this one, because I was just kind of like, So if I do skip, it's usually because of the book. It has nothing to do with the items, because they'll put items that are from really popular book series, but it's just not enough sometimes. You know, I need a really good book, and I'm sure this book is not bad. That doesn't mean it's not that it's a bad book. It's just not one for me. Let me angle this a little so you can see that. A little bit of glare. So the other thing, so we have March, and this one I gave 3 stars, 7 Faceless Saints. Again, this wasn't a book that I was really like too excited about. It was a very pretty edition though, and they had a really beautiful plate, which I actually have displayed on my bookshelves. So this one I gave a good rating. And I will say this about Fairyloot that I really like about them is that there are books I have gotten that I'm just like, I don't know about it. And then I go and I read it, and it turns out it was a really great book. So they actually have some good taste, I would say. I read Only a Monster. That was one that I read recently, which was a book they did, and I was just blown away by how much I loved it. I wasn't expecting to love it. So this rating is not a reflection on the book itself. It's just the box and what the book was and how I felt about the book without having read it. So also keep that in mind, you know. There was some, you know, I try to be objective, but there is some subjectiveness to this because it's all about your personal taste. And then lastly, April, we had Silver in the Bone, which was a book I was really excited about. And I think I actually got this book from Fabled as well. So if you want to see me do like a side-by-side comparison of Fairyloot versus Fabled with this book, I can do that. So just put a comment in below, and then I can like definitely do a video on that if you guys want to see that. They had a bowl cozy, which I had never seen before in a box, and I loved all the purple. I remember there was like so much purple in this box, and so I gave it 4 stars. So, and then May was Divine Rivals. I had no idea how popular this book is, but it's popular on all the social media. And so I thought that was a really good book choice. But the items I wasn't as impressed with. And so it's really the book versus the items in this case and how they average out. So for me, I was excited about the book, but the wooden postcard was like the thing I thought was the best. The other items were just okay. So there you go. And then lastly, for the YA, we'd have our June. I just did a video about this not too long ago. The book was Sing Me to Sleep. Favorite item was the pillow cover, but there were several items I liked. There was probably more than one item I liked. I just can't fit it all on here, so I have to choose one. I make myself choose one. So this was a 5-star as well. So for this one, for Fairyloot YA, the average rating was 4.1 stars, which is great. That's a great, to me, that means this is a great book box, and this is one that I recommend. So let's go to adults. And again, I just decorated this. I'm not an artist at all, so, you know, I don't claim to be one, so yes, so forgive my little homemade look here, but anyway, so this is the adult, this is book only, so I only had the book to rate this on. So just real quick, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride, the book was actually highly anticipated at the time, and it was a beautiful edition, gave it 4 stars. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. I really do want to read this one. The book was gorgeous. This was high quality, foiling inside, outside. It was just beautiful. So, and then The Foxglove King, another book. Again, you can tell how much I want to read. See, if I really want to read the book, I'm going to give it like a really high rating. And this one, I think I'll probably want to read before this one, but I don't know. I can't choose. April, I skipped. I don't remember what that book was. But I went ahead and skipped. And then we have The Curse of Saints. And this is one of my lowest ratings I've given so far, because this is a 2-star. And the reason for that, I wrote it in here so I wouldn't forget, it was the bad edges. It looked like someone took a Sharpie and colored in the edges black. It just did not look good at all. And I just didn't want, I just felt like the quality was poor. And I didn't really know much about the book or had heard anything about the book, so I wasn't as excited. I think probably the quality of the book was probably my biggest factor for rating it low. Very unexpected for Fairyloot, because they usually have very good quality books. Like, I mean, look up here, like these were all great. And then all of a sudden it was just like, what happened, you know? But then we have kind of like a redemption story here. This is our most recent review. Which is Shanghai Immortal, beautiful edition. I liked the sound of the book, like the synopsis, it sounded kind of good. And so I love the pop of color I remember on this one. That's the freshest in my mind. And then I actually was waiting to do my YA box review. And then when I was going through the star ratings for this video, I realized, oh, I was waiting for the adult so I could do them both at the same time like I normally do. But then I was like, wait a minute, I skipped it and I totally forgot. So that's why another reason to keep track of all of your book box subscriptions. Oh, and so this one had a little bit lower rating. It was just an average of a 4-star rating just because we had a low rating. Here, these I count as 0, so this one didn't really count as anything. As you can see, though, they had some really good high ratings. So, okay. So now, I think this one's really easy to do. This is Arcane Society. And this is the authors, since they are a book only, I wrote the authors and I wrote the 2 books. They always have 2 books. And then if it's a series, they often do add-ons. So here's our first one, Stacey Marie Brown. This is the Savage Lands series. So book Savage Lands and Wildlands were in there. And then this was our December-January box. So they do a bi-monthly box as opposed to a monthly box. So I only had these ones to go over, but I will say that I did do the add-on box and I'm waiting for those to come in so I can start the series. Beautiful books, 5-star. I really wanted to read these, so exciting. I'm just gonna go straight on. C.N. Crawford, author that I really wanted to read. Haven't read these books yet. I really want to read these. Super excited. You can tell which books I really love. And then J. Bree is the Broken Bonds series, and I did do the add-on. I did the add-on for this box and this. I did add-ons for all these. So on top of the it's like $65 a month for the bi-monthly. You can buy the additional books. So I went ahead and did that so I could complete these series. This one's already come in. I'm still waiting for this one, and this one probably will be in the fall, I think. But okay, it's really easy to do the math here. 5 stars. This is a 5-star book box. So what else? What more could you want? All right, and then we have our Mystic box. This one is more, oh, I should have said, so this one, the Arcane is more paranormal fantasy romance, and the Mystic box is more like dark romance, maybe even mafia romance, you know, that kind of thing. So here I have the 3 months, and this one is the Ammo Jones and Peace Lies Havoc. So this one I rated lower because I don't know anything about the series, and I don't know how I feel about circuses. I read, oh, what is that book? I loved it. The Night Circus. I love that book. But I know that this is dark romance, so this is not going to be anything like that. Anyway, so I gave it 3 stars. I probably will read it just to try it out. Maybe I'm going to love it. I don't know. And I didn't like the sprayed edges as well. I think that was the other reason I gave it a star down, because it looked kind of like childish for a dark romance book to me. So I think that was my biggest, like, aesthetic thing, that I was just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like the sprayed edges. So, and then we have the March, April. I gave 4 stars. For Belle Aurora was the author, Raw and Raw Rebirth. The reason why I knocked it down a star, because after I looked it up, so Raw is the first book and Raw Rebirth is the 3rd book in the series. They are going to do like an add-on box for the middle book. But because I'm not someone who's familiar with this author, or I haven't read the books, so supposedly this one and this one are the same characters. And the other one in the middle is like different characters, like a different story, different love story. And if you can call it that, that's the author's disclaimer. But anyway, so there is a book in between. And so I just don't know how I feel about the way that they did that. So, you know, I like to read books in order. That's a little bit OCD of me, I know, but you know, it's just something that I just, even though it's different, I don't want to read the 3rd book and feel like I'm missing something that's referenced in it. So I wouldn't know because I haven't read these yet. So I'm probably going to wait for that other add-on to come out before I start reading the series. So I have to wait. I have to wait for the 2nd book. So that's the only reason why I knocked it down a star. And then last but not least, we have H.D. Carlton, Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline. This was very highly anticipated book box. To me, the books are gorgeous. They're books I really want to read. I was so excited. I almost bought it in a bookstore, and then I remembered that they were doing H.D. Carlton, and I was like, oh, no, 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 no. So I went ahead and I gave that one 5 stars. So overall, Mystic, out of the 3 boxes I've gotten, is a 4-star overall rating. So it's definitely a subscription I'm keeping. I plan on it because I want to see what else they got. You know, I still don't feel like I have a good feel for this box yet. But I would say these 2 are the ones probably I'm most excited about. This one again, I'm kind of like, I don't know. So anyway, okay. So here we have our Fabled Twilight. So this one, this is the book box out of Australia. Fabled Twilight is more of a fantasy romance, lower on the spice scale, but it can go up to like 3 chili peppers, I want to say. And again, this one is pretty like easy to see. So we had Of Shadow and Moonlight by Luna Laurier, City of Souls. Even though I hadn't heard of this author, like once I read what it was about, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to read that. A Cursed Kiss, this one I really want to read. And these editions, by the way, all these editions were gorgeous, gorgeous. I think the only reason I gave this one 1 less star is because at the time when I was rating it, I hadn't really heard about it. Then once I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, no, I really want to read that. So, the other thing, oh, okay, Laura Thalassa, that was an automatic 5-star for me because I really like her books. I love that paranormal vibe. This one's got like a witchy vibe, obviously. And then I have The Isles of the Gods by Amy Kaufman. I don't know too much about this author, and I haven't heard too much about this book. So this was a 3-star, so I was just like, this is a good box. It was beautiful. The artwork was beautiful. It was good. And then A Crown of Ivy and Glass. I gave this one 4 stars. I've heard mixed reviews of this book, actually, but I love the stained glass edges that they did. Super gorgeous. I just couldn't I just could not give it 4 stars just for being pretty, because I was like, this is beautiful. Like, this is quality. So, oh, and then let me just check my ratings here. So this one, I gave a 4.3 rating over 6 months, over the six boxes that I've gotten. So, and then we have our last one, which is Fabled Knights. And so this one is more of a dark romance, but as you can tell, oh, let me fix that. As you can tell, there's kind of a mix here, like Fighting Destiny by Amelia Hutchins. I know that has more of a paranormal vibe, and it's fae. So they are doing a Fabled Moonlight. I've got to make a new page because I subscribe to that as well. But Fabled Moonlight starts with the July box, but I am also going to still get Fabled Knights. So Fabled Knights is moving more towards like dark romance, mafia, that kind of stuff. And then Fabled Moonlight's going to be more the paranormal, so probably more Amelia Hutchins type books. But as you can tell, I really want to read this series, and I've been meaning to read it forever, and I just gave it 5 stars because it was a beautiful edition, great author choice, perfect. Same thing here. Another book I really want to read, 5 stars, beautiful edition. Promises and Pomegranates, author I really want to read. These are all authors I really want to read, and now I can because I have their books and they're pretty. Knotted by Pam Godwin, again, beautiful edition. By the way, they did put out, I think it was in their newsletter that they are doing the other 2 books in this series, and they are gorgeous. I've seen them. They're so pretty. So this one was beautiful, and I gave that 5 stars. Forever After All, this one, again, an author I wasn't as familiar with, but the edition was pretty, and once I read the synopsis, I'm like, actually, I do want to read that. And then this one here, this is actually like a volume 1, volume 2. They're 2 books, 2 novellas in 1 book. Bree Porter, I haven't heard too much about her, honestly. The book was a beautiful edition, but I just wasn't once I read what it was about, I just wasn't as excited. Because I just feel like sometimes the mafia thing is just a little bit overdone. So I'm interested in see what future Fabled Knights books are going to be like. Because I feel like all mafia is just sometimes a little too much, you know. So we'll see where they go with it. We'll see what they do. But I'm looking forward to Fabled Moonlight. And the rating that I gave on this one was a 4.5 stars. So this one was almost a 5 star. Well, I mean, I gave 5 stars 4 months in a row. So, so we'll see how that changes when they switch with the Moonlight and they put more, because obviously like some of these are more, this one is like a sort of a retelling Hades and Persephone, and this one is more paranormal. So I'm just thinking paranormal fantasy, I should say. Oh, and this is up to 5 chili peppers, by the way, super spicy. So I will say that you have to just be aware of that if you're getting this box. So if that's all we're going off of, so I just want to kind of, I'm going to flip back here. Let me do it. So my number 1 box, the number 1 box, believe it or not, even though there's only 3 boxes I've gotten so far, is Arcane Society. This one is 5 stars. And then that's followed by Fabled Knights, obviously. So this one is our 4.5. Third place goes to Fabled Twilight because the books are gorgeous and I really am excited to read these. And then 4th place actually goes to Fairyloot YA. And I just really like their book choices have just been really spot on for me, and I like the items. So I will say that Fairyloot is actually going towards, they're actually going to have a new box coming out, if you haven't heard. That's going to be more of a, I think it's going to be more paranormal fantasy romance geared, because a lot of people who like the adult books have said they want more fantasy and less romance. So that's what this is going to become. And to me, some of these choices are kind of reflecting that, where the romance is kind of like a side, like might be like a subplot, I guess you could say. So just keep that in mind, that they might be going away from that. There is a wait list for that new box, so I would go look for that if you are interested in the new box. And I think they're going to come out, that's going to come out in 2024. Okay, so let's go to our special editions. So I just want to point out here that special editions are one of the reasons why people subscribe to book boxes, is because they choose, this is where a lot of your popular authors are going to be, is in the special editions that are outside of the subscription, but you need to be a subscriber to the box in order to get access to these special editions. So I kind of just real quick, you can see, I actually did cancel one because I was like, oh, maybe I like jumped in that. You can see some of the prices here. So Fortuna Sworn, you can see the date. So this is how I just keep track of my special editions. I have the date ordered, the price, and whether or not I've received it or not. So there's a lot I've ordered, clearly. But as you can see, and I will say, like, Fortuna Sworn, this was in August 2022 is when I ordered this. I just got this in the mail in July. So it's almost been a full year. So just know too, with some of these, you're gonna be waiting. Again, see, Fairyloot has the Poison Study, which they said they'll probably be shipping out in the fall of this year. That was September. So like you can kind of see, but then other things, this was also Fairyloot, and they've already shipped the Crescent City, Married to Magic, Bookish Box. I've gotten all these. So, so just kind of like some of these that I'm really looking forward to. I've gotten some from other book boxes as well that you can, some book boxes don't have a subscription and you just have to like go on a wait list and sign up. They just do special books. That's all they do. So I will say overall, I've ordered 5 boxes from, or not 5 boxes, 5 special editions, not including 2022. So for this year, 2023 and forward, I've ordered, and let me just flip the page here. I've ordered 5 from Bookish Box, 5 special editions from Fairyloot. I've only done add-ons with Arcane Society. So here we have the J. Bree add-on. So you can see how much those extra books are costing me to complete the series. And Fabled, I've done 2 special editions, hopefully with more, because they have sent a lot of book 1s for series. And they did say they were going to do the Pam Godwin, and I think there was one other one that they're going to do the next book. I think it was this Siren's Mutiny, which was a book they did last year. That's the one that they're going to do the next book on. Some honorable mentions are cover to cover, Lit Joy. I'm getting the Folk of the Air set, the 2nd reprinting, Lit Haven Booktique, I should say. And then Dark and Disturbed is another one that they've done. They did a Adelaide Forest book, and so I went ahead and I was like, yes, I want a bundle of 3 books. So anyway, that's all I have. If you have any questions, if you want to see more from my planner, leave a comment below and I'll do kind of a review of how I filled that out. It was blank last time I went through this, I think, with y'all. So feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.